Toxic friend check.
You know how everyone's talking about their friends that they had that secretly hated them? That reminds me of a tale. Story time. So this begins in 4th grade. There was a new girl in my class. Every time there was a new kid, I would love making friends with them. I was so shy in elementary school. Anyone who didn't have a preconceived connotation of me, I just wanted to befriend them. So I'm driving home from school with my mom, and literally like 3 houses down from me, I see her playing in her front yard. So the next day at school, I said to her, "Do you live in," and I said my neighborhood, and she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I live right there." And she was like, "Cool." I don't know how we became friends after that, but we did. We were attached at the hip. We hung out every single day for years. Now we're in 7th grade. I'm noticing that she's starting to get a little boy crazy. If you've ever had a girlfriend that's boy crazy, you know where this story is heading. Girls that prioritize men and male validation, they're gonna choose guys over you 10 out of 10 times. Every time I would hang out with her, she would be texting boys. We'd be jumping on the trampoline, and she would stop every 2 minutes to pull out her little Envy phone and text some boys. As a 7th grader, she started doing...
I just have to pause this for a second because this is like so triggering to me. I had a friend just like this, and they were a toxic friend, and they were so boy crazy that everything we did, like, they had to involve a guy. Like, they were always talking to some guy, or they wanted to meet up with some guy, or we'd go to a party and it's because some guy was going to be there, and it's always like, can't we just like hang out just us? And no, she only wanted to go out to the club if there was guys, if there was going to be attention, male validation. Like, it wasn't enough that just like her friends loved her and wanted to be around her. Like, no, need a guy to want you, and it's so annoying. Oh my god. And like, trust me, I know what it's like to be insecure for sure. I definitely know what it's like, but you gotta know that the friends gotta be above random guys. Like, come on. Anyways, sorry to interrupt you, Taylor. Let's keep watching.
Acts with this one boy in particular, and I had no interest in that. I was literally 12. I was nowhere near that. So we were already starting to go on some different paths here. So one day we had another friend that was mutual, both of us, and we were all hanging out at my house. I need to give the girl a name. The boy crazy girl, her name is Anna in this story. Anna is like, let's go to the high school football game. And the other friend we were with, let's call her Cheryl. Me and Cheryl and Anna get there, and immediately Anna ditches us to talk to some boys. Me and Cheryl are just kind of there like, what do we do now? Also, this is one of like the first times that Cheryl has hung out with us. After like a few hours of Anna completely ditching us, she's just talking to these boys the whole time. And I do want to note too, these weren't even cool boys. They were kind of like weird. They were just gross. Like, I'm sorry. If you're gonna be obsessed with some boys, at least make them cute. Cheryl says to me, "Look, I'm nervous. I didn't tell my mom that I was gonna be here. It's getting dark. Like, can we please go back?" I was like, yeah, like, that's not a problem. So I call my mom to pick me up. I'm telling Anna, like, look, Cheryl has to go home. Like, I want to leave. I'm not really having fun either. We're gonna go. You can come with us if you want.
This is so accurate to my experience too, by the way. Like, it would literally be any guy. It wouldn't even be like, oh, the hot guy or the funny guy, or this is the best guy, no wonder you like him. Like, no, it'd be like literally any random guy, and they just want them so bad. Okay, so let's continue.
Like, why do some of you expose your friends' business after you stop being friends? Make it make sense. Like, what's the point? What's the purpose? Like, what do you gain? This whole Ice Spice and Storm situation, it's just another example of why you should be safe out here with some of the people that you call yourself friends. Yes, Ice Spice was wrong, but Storm was also there kikiing with her. So she was comfortable telling you all of this for a reason, so you're just as bad as her. And I feel like anyone who is friends with Storm, if they're smart, they need to be careful what they open their mouth and say to her, because they can end up on the internet. Like, I feel like we need to get to a point where we stop being friends with people and we can move on amicably without any issues. Not everything needs to be brought to the internet. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, why do some of you
For sure, that's very true. Depends what the business is and depends how you expose it, I would say. And I think if they're just on the internet saying, yeah, like this person, naming them, they're probably just trying to feel better about themselves. you know, because they feel screwed over or whatever. Not an excuse, of course. But yeah, they probably, I don't know, I've had ex-friends, like I only have like a couple ex-friends because I don't stop being friends with people. You know, something pretty bad has to happen. And yeah, they do talk crap. Like, I think it makes them feel better that they're out of the friendship. It's like, oh, well, like, Jessica anyway, she's a bitch. You know, so they feel better. I think that's like what it is. And something I would say to watch out for is if you notice your friend talk about all their other friends to you, you gotta watch out because they're probably talking about you too. Like, there's no way you're the one exemption who doesn't get talked about. So that's another thing I would watch out for. If someone's like always just like talking about people, like that's not a good thing. So let's continue.
I swear, if there's one thing I will never understand, it's when you have a best friend that just randomly starts to hate you. This is the most confusing thing I've ever experienced. Because usually it's someone you're like insanely close with, but then they just start getting weird and like low-key trying to sabotage you. If you ever experience this, don't beat yourself up being like, I wonder what I did wrong. Because I did that for years. Most of the time people switch up on you like this, it's because they're insecure or jealous or both. Which is really strange to me because if I look up to someone, I like want to be closer to them. I want to be their friend. But some people, if they feel like you're a threat to them, they will just start hating you. And it is not your fault. I swear, if there's one thing I will never understand, it's when you have a best...
Yep, that is so true. And you can like spend years trying to figure out why don't they want to be my friend? Like, why don't they want to... I thought I was such a good friend to them. Like, I would have been their friend for life. And people just don't see friendship that way a lot of the times. And sometimes it's better just to let it go, especially if they like hate you or are jealous of you or trying to sabotage you. If you notice they're always negative around you, always got something bad to say about you to take you down a notch, make you feel bad, bring up things that make you feel bad. Like, these are not people that we need in our life. It's almost like they're using us to like feel better. It's like you're like their personal punching bag almost sometimes. So anyways, let's read the comments on this one. I have one friend, we are in a group of 5, who for years used to invite me for hangouts and eating out and stuff with a friend group, but this year suddenly stopped inviting me to everything. ... That's weird. I mean, obviously it's a two-way street. Both people need to be keeping in contact. Like, you should also be doing invites sometimes, but this just sucks. That just sucks. Someone's like, yeah, no, you definitely did something. I mean, that's like also very possible. Like, a lot of times there is a reason that someone would cut someone off. So, anyways, let me find one more for this video.
If you have a friend who is an emotional vampire, this is where they suck all the energy from you. When you're together, they only talk about themselves. They don't ask anything about you or your life, and you're just basically their free therapist. And nobody wants to be that in a friendship. That's a one-way street. That's not how relationships or friendships work. So you feel burnt out, and a lot of times we feel stuck because like it almost becomes like there's a dependency on you, and that's not fair in the friendship. You kind of have this like anticipatory anxiety to be around them because you're like, this person's gonna drain me, and that's not fun. If you have a friend who is an emotional vampire, this is where they suck.
I have also been through this, and it does become like that where you are sort of stressed about talking to them because you know it's going to be like a ton of problems and you're going to have to go into therapy mode for like 4 hours, and obviously you want to be there for them. But then when it's every single time, over and over, and even worse, sometimes the same problems keep happening and your advice and guidance is not even being like regarded at all. That really hurts. So I totally get this now. I never got this before, but like, it's a real thing. Top comment says, oh my gosh, I'm going through this right now with my best friend. Every phone call will be them going on for 40 minutes about them and then proceed to ask about me. So that's true for this situation here. I mean, at least they asked about you. There's a lot of times where they don't even do that, but like, hey, this is a good thing to realize that we're in, so we can change it or get out. Like, you can change it. You don't have to end the friendship. You can let them know what's going on and communicate with them like, hey, this has been hard for me because blah, blah, blah. Can we do something different? And see if they're open to it. Hopefully they don't get too offended. I mean, it also depends, right? If someone's in a crisis, obviously you're gonna be there for them. So, just depends how often this is happening to you and how you feel about it. Anyways, my camera is definitely overheating right now, so thank you so very much for being here. I really, really, really appreciate you spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.